Hello, I'm Simon. Welcome back to the workshop. Now today I'm going to be making a jitter tool, and if you don't know what one of those is, then you're in good company, because I didn't know what one of those was either until a couple of weeks ago when my friend showed me one being used and asked if I could make him one. Well, I accepted that challenge, and that's what we're going to do today. So let's get tinkering. Now for this build I'm using an old chair leg. Need to avoid this little hole here, or I need to fill the hole, one or the other. I've got a little bit of aluminium pipe which is left over from my flip cart build, and a few old reciprocating saw blades. Now this piece of wood is going to become a handle, and I'm going to turn it on the lathe. But to do that I need to fix it to the jaws of my 3-jaw chuck. Now we'll all know that a square has 4 sides, and a 3-jaw chuck wants either 3 sides or 6 sides, or a multiple of 3, or a circle. So I need a method to get this piece of wood securely fixed in the 3-jaw chuck. Now in the past I've 3D printed collets, and they work pretty well, but as the wood gets bigger the collets get bigger and they take longer and longer to print. So I'm going to try a new method of attaching this to the 3-jaw chuck. It's something that occurred to me when I was making the knobs for a previous project. Because of the limitations of my lathe being an engineering lathe, not a woodworking lathe, I know that I'm going to have to turn this piece around at some point in the operation. So to help that and to give me something to grip in the jaws, the first thing I'm going to do is create a circle at the other end that I'll be able to put into the jaws later. So with a slight change of plan, I've decided I want the handle to be as long as possible, and therefore this part, which is going to be part of the handle but not the handle, needs to be the same diameter as the inside diameter of the metal tube, because the metal tube is going to slot onto it. So I'm going to make this as long as I can. I can't get much further in this direction because I've run out of tool rest. In fact I can if I change and move to a machine tool. I think I'll do that actually. I'll put my machine tool on and cut this down until I get it to exactly the internal diameter of the tube. That's a plan. So while this tool's on here, I might as well make the whole board circular. If you're interested in making one of these tools yourself, then at the end of the video I'll leave some dimensions and you can pause the video and note them all down. Well, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, then a thumbs up will be great. It shows your appreciation to me that you are enjoying the video and that it's worth me making them. Equally, if you don't like the video, then give me a thumbs down, because at least I'll know that it wasn't something that you were that interested in. Best of all, if you know someone that you think would like this video, then why not share it? Sharing love and spreading the word about my video channel will really help me grow the channel. That's probably the best thing you could do. If you've got any questions, as always, just leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. I've put the tube in the lathe and I'm just going to face off so I know I've got a nice square end. I'll then part the tube off at the length that I want. Now I'm going to use these old reciprocating saw blades for a couple of different things. So I need to cut two pieces out, and they're going to be slightly different shapes. But first I'm going to get rid of the teeth on this saw blade using the bench grinder. Before I cut this piece to length, I'm first going to shape it on the bench grinder. I now need to sharpen this piece. I now need to cut a notch at the end of this. The little hole is unfortunate, but it's not going to be seen. I'll drill a hole in one side of this tube in the centre. I'm now going to glue the pieces together using some 5-minute epoxy, which is my least favourite glue. My plan was to glue this nut on the inside coincident with this hole, so that I could then use a little hand bolt or just a normal bolt, probably a normal bolt, to hold this in place. Now I've decided that's not such a good idea, and I'm going to add a threaded insert to this, so I need to drill this out a little bit more. So here is the finished tool. This is a spring steel bit that we made out of the reciprocating saw blade. We can change this bit very easily for one that's a different shape, or we can adjust the length of the bit in the tool to change how it works. So let's see it working. Now I made this tool for a friend, so I'm going to let him be the first person to try it. And here you can see he's pushing the tool across the surface of the part, and we can see that it's making a bit of a racket, and the tool is vibrating up and down, and the result of that is this pattern that you get on the piece. Now, we tried this a few times, and I tried it as well. It's very simple to use, and it gives exactly the same pattern each time. There's some changes that my friend has suggested that he thinks will make it even better. So I'm now going to go through those changes. So the changes my friend has asked for is to make this bit here a little bit shorter. So I've got to cut the end off, which is a little bit more complicated than you'd think. And he's also asked if I could make him a tool bit that's pointed. Now the easiest way to make this piece shorter would be just to take a hacksaw to it and cut the end off. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put it back in the lathe, and I'm going to cut the tube in the lathe, and then I'm going to take a hacksaw to the wood and the extra piece of metal in here. I think we've also come to the conclusion that the little piece of metal that the tool sits on probably isn't necessary, and it being wood may even have an advantage over it being metal. Now the reason I didn't want this metal piece in the tool after all was that it was quite a slippery surface, so removing it means that I'm clamping the bit and it's being pushed against a piece of wood which has got a bit more friction, and therefore the bit is less likely to rotate on the clamping knob. I did almost get all the way through it before the up and down of the hacksaw blade actually removed it from the piece. I can tell you, cutting this with a hacksaw blade was pretty difficult. Now I was so pleased with how these turned out that I made myself one. If you've enjoyed this video, then please leave a thumbs up. If you know anyone that might enjoy this video, then please share it with them. If you've got any questions, then leave them in the comments below. So here are the dimensions I used. The handle is 17 centimetres long. The tube is 5 centimetres long, and the threaded insert is 2 centimetres from the end of the tube. Now I think actually you'd be better off making the tube slightly longer. I know I cut mine down in the video, but my view is the tube should be longer, but you should keep the threaded insert 2 centimetres from the end. This will give you a bit more space to move the tool up and down to change the length of it, and that's what changes the frequency of the little indents that you get, and therefore how the pattern looks. And here are some other videos that you might be interested in. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.